So much drama on Capitol Hill these days. Yes, 3 separate committees going into overdrive. It just reminds you of a middle school playground, right? Where the hero gamely steps up to the bully, draws a line in the dirt, says, "You shall not pass." And then the bully steps right over the line. And then the hero gamely looks over at the girl that he's trying to impress, and so he draws another line in the dirt and says, "You shall not pass." And guess what happens? So, who's the hero in this tale? Let's see. We have 3 candidates, 3 committees. We have the House Ways and Means Committee. What? More on that in a moment. We have the Judiciary Committee, and we have the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. But let's start with Ways and Means. What is Ways and Means? Well, it's a strange name because they don't want us to know what they're doing in that committee. Why? Because it has to do with taxes. Yes. And the chair is Richard Neal, and he campaigned for re-election half a year ago, saying, "I'll get Donald J. Trump's tax returns. I'll do it if you put me in." Yes, and we put him in. And did he get those tax returns? Well, not really. He keeps drawing line in the dirt after line in the dirt after line in the dirt, and the bully keeps stepping over that line. Who's the bully this time? Treasury Secretary Mnuchin. Who knew? I thought the guy was a bit of a putz. Here we are, weeks later, months later, sternly worded letters threatening things like subpoenas, threatening contempt. And what does that even mean, congressional contempt? Well, there's this Teapot Dome law, right? It goes back to the Teapot Dome scandal that says that Congress, like the president, can request anyone's tax returns if it helps them do their job. Well, for some reason, the bully is saying, no, we're not going to follow that law, right? We're just going to break that law. And to you. Yes, so they're breaking the law. And what does that mean? Well, if you refuse to testify, or if you refuse to provide documents that the committee needs to do its work, the law says that they can hold you in contempt, which means $1,000 fine and throw your ass in jail for a year. Is he going to do it? Is Richard Neal, the hardy warrior defending the rights of Americans everywhere, is he going to do it? Well, probably not. Well, let's go over to oversight and governmental reform. That sounds more promising, right? We have Elijah Cummings, and he's been thundering away saying we have all the tools to use at our disposal, and we'll use every single one of them. Right. And so he's going to get all kinds of things. He's going to get Stephen Miller in there so we can find out why he was throwing babies in cages. Did that happen? Well, no. Well, he's going to find out just what went down with Hurricane Maria. Is that happening? Well, not really, if he was refusing to release the documents. Well, he's going to find out about Jared Kushner and how he got that security clearance, right? Well, he's subpoena threat after subpoena threat, and then threats of holding him in contempt, and then finally at the last minute, because, he can throw him in jail, right? But he blinks. Elijah Cummings blinks. And so they bring in this guy, this schmuck, this Carl Klein. Who? Yes, he used to work in the White House. He used to be in charge of security clearances. And you can just imagine, because it was a closed hearing, you have to imagine what went on. Mr. Klein, he thunders at him. Mr. Klein, did you give Jared Kushner a security clearance so that he could blackmail the Qataris and get their cash, the $1.5 billion, to prop up that failing tower of yours in Manhattan? And Mr. Klein says, upon advice of counsel, I shall not answer that question. Mr. Klein, were you even in charge of security clearances at the White House? Upon advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question. Did you even work at the White House? Upon advice, yes, so much. That's so much for being a hero. He's more of a milksop, just like Richard Neal. Huh? Well, how about Jerry Nadler? He had a very exciting week over there at the Judiciary Committee, right? He's been screaming that he's going to get the full Mueller report, not the Swiss cheese version which the Attorney General William Barr has been peddling. No, he keeps throwing out stern letter after stern letter, threatening subpoenas, threatening contempt of court, and what's it coming to? Drawing line after line after line in the dirt, and the bully keeps stepping over every single one, including even skipping a hearing altogether. What does Jerry Nadler finally do? Well, he finally schedules a vote. They have these fiery speeches about the very state of the country, the foundation of America's democracy is being undermined. We have a dictator-in-chief in the Oval Office these days, a man who would be king, and he votes and they decide to hold the Attorney General in contempt. And that's what's interesting about this, because, you know, the three of them have been watching each other very nervously all this time, wondering who's going to go first. Because it's much safer to be second. Because if you're first, Donnie J. Trump is going to hammer you. Right, he's going to probably send one of his cretins to primary your ass next time when you're running for re-election and destroy your career so you don't get a bridge named after you at last. Yes, they're all so terrified, yet they keep getting pushed from behind by those pesky women of color in the House of Representatives. AOC, remember her? And then Tlaib over there in Detroit, and Omar over in Minneapolis. They just keep pushing them saying, do something, do something, do something. And they got to Jerry first. So yes, they're holding the Attorney General in contempt. Does that mean they're going to grab his ass and that fat ass and throw him in jail for a year? Well, no, they're just going to punt it into the courts so that it can, just kind of meander along for a while, and they can pretend that they can look like they're doing something when they're achieving absolutely nothing, until finally everybody's forgotten about all of this, and some year in the future, the court, with all the ferocious bombast of a silent whimper, will release their judgment that nobody will pay attention to. And we used to accuse Donnie J. Trump of having a shadow play administration. Woo! Boy, these three milksops make him look like a chump. So where does this all leading to? What is this all leading to? Does this mean that Donnie J. Trump is going to get away again? He's going to escape justice again? Is that what this means? Is that what this means? Or is there another way? Another woman of color, this one in the Senate, showed us a way just the other day, and her name is Kamala. Yes, she went into that hearing, she's thinking the hearing with that same William Barr, Attorney General, lapdog of Donald J. Trump, and she thought, well, I can't really hold him in contempt because Mitch McConnell runs the Senate these days, so I'll find another way. And she did. She got into him. She's been developing those prosecutorial skills of hers many years as Attorney General herself, this of the 7th largest economy in the world, the state of California. And she went at him and she said, so, did anyone at the White House suggest that you investigate someone else? Suggest? Is that a yes? No, I wouldn't say it's a yes. Is that a no then? No, it's not really no, so you don't know, do you? No, you don't know. Okay, moving on. That got him in a huff. His waddles started shaking and sweat started breaking out on his brow. And she said, so you issued the summary judgment of the Mueller report. Did you review the evidence? Well, we answer the question, please. Well, see, back in 1913, because he's trying to run out the clock. Answer the question, please. She says, rather coolly, is that a yes? Is it a no? No, so you don't know. You don't know, and yet you issued the summary judgment. Would you accept that from any other U.S. attorney in the United States? Yes, his reputation in tatters. He crawled out of that room, his tail between his legs, Donnie J. Trump's lapdog revealed at last. Boy, when it comes down to it, three milksops led by their sick kitten of a speaker, Nancy Pelosi, or the bitch of color, Kamala, which would you have defending our interests? Thanks for watching my video. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Just click on that red box below. I want to keep you laughing.